I wanted to make this video just to make a comparison between two different Intaglio inks, between Akua ink and between Intaglio Printmaker's ink. So I've always been using Intaglio Printmaker's inks, and they are really great inks and amazing to work with. The only thing that I have really struggled with is cleaning up. Let's face it, it's not fun. The only way really to clean up these inks is to first of all loosen them up on your surfaces with a bit of sunflower oil, and then whatever you've got left, to use a solvent like white spirit to clean it up. And the difficulty of cleaning up and how long it took me and the amount of white spirit and smell really used to bug me. So when I found out there is another brand of an Intaglio ink that you can just clean off with detergent, soapy cloth or baby wipe, I got really excited. But then I thought, is it going to be as good as the good old Intaglio Printmaker's ink? I worried about the quality of the print. But I bought a starter pack of Akua Intaglio inks, just this sort of starter set, because I just wanted to know what it was like to use them. And I made a couple of prints just using black, nothing special, but I found it was pretty good, and I was happy with it. But what I wanted to do is do a demonstration of both inks together, and I wanted to show you what the difference is of inking up, wiping off, printing, and then the end print, what it looks like. So I've got two plates and two types of inks, and I'm going to do two prints, and I wanted you to see what the difference is between the two. So I'm going to use, in order to find out which ink works better, I'm going to use Akua Carbon Black ink, and I'm going to compare it to, you can only clean it off with solvents. So basically what I want to see is, I prefer using an ink which I can just wipe off with detergent, which is this ink, the Akua ink. You can't do it with this Intaglio Printmaker ink. So if I was to use this ink, I want to see if I compromise on the quality of my print. I want to see if the print looks just as good with both inks. So I've got two plates. They are basically collage plates. So I have put a layer of micaceous iron oxide to create a dark background, and I created some collage papers on a marker pad covered with gloss medium, and I sort of made some marks on these collage papers using all sorts of pastes and gels. So they're quite similar plates. So I just want to see, I'm going to ink this one up with the Intaglio Printmaker etching ink, and this one with Akua Intaglio ink, and make a comparison. So first of all, I'm going to see how easy, well, what the difference is between the consistency of both inks. I don't like when the inks are too stiff, because they are very difficult to wipe off and it become quite difficult to work with. But obviously they have to be of certain consistency to work. They can't be too loose. So Akua ink is sort of quite loose actually. It's got quite nice consistency. yeah, it's very soft. Another thing about Aqua ink is that it doesn't dry until it becomes in the contact with paper. So I could ink this plate up with Aqua ink, leave it go away, leave it for a few hours, and it wouldn't dry on a plate. It only dries when it comes to contact with paper. So that's another beauty, and it doesn't get this film on top. And so this ink, that would probably become more of a problem if I left the plate. So already I can see the consistency is quite different of this ink. It's a lot stiffer. So if I'm going to apply this to my plate, it's very easy to spread it. No problem. And this one is already, as you can see, quite stiffer. Bear in mind, I mean, this ink I have bought quite a while ago, so it could be to do with its age, but in my experience, these inks are a lot stiffer. Now, there are sometimes reasons why you want the ink to be stiffer or runnier, but I think in this case, as you can see, it's actually very difficult to spread. It's a lot, well, it's just a lot more difficult than the Aqua ink to spread and get it into all the places. So I'm just going to use a toothbrush just to push it in. Make sure it gets into all the gaps. Try to clean off the excess so I can use it again. Okay. And I'm going to do the same. It is a lot more difficult, I have to say, to get it in. It's quite a bit more hard work. Okay, so I think I've got it more or less on there. What I'm going to do is just I'm going to wipe the ink off now. So I've got my Scrim. And just see how easy it is to wipe the ink off. So this is my Aqua ink. So you can see sort of almost one wipe and the ink is pretty much off. Okay. Now let's see how easy it is to get the Intaglio Printmaker ink off. It's a lot stickier. I'm having to work quite hard to get it off. That was super easy. This isn't. Wow, yeah, the difference is quite significant. I'm having to apply a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Yeah, it's taking me so long just to take the ink off. Now this one will appear lighter because it has a lot more gloss medium on the collage paper than this one. So but I also have this plate printed in using Akua ink, so we can compare it later. Got some nice patterns showing up here. Okay, so I don't want to over wipe it, but you saw how much longer it took me to get this cleaned off. Right, now let's print it and see how different it looks when printed. Right, I'm going to print them both on the same piece of paper just to save time. Okay, so I'll be really interested to see if there's much difference. I think I gave them a fair treatment, equal treatment. I think I've wiped the ink off more or less same level. The plates are very similar. Okay, so this one was done by Intaglio Printmaker ink, and this one was done by Akua ink. Now, with regards to the quality, I really can't see any difference. There's a slight different shade, but that's because it could be because of the different shade of black, which I think that's what it is. But as to the quality of the ink, I really don't see that much difference. Perhaps this one leaked a little bit more, because it's runnier, but that's really up to me on how I wipe it. But I must say there really isn't that much difference. I can also compare it to the previous print I have made yesterday. So this one was done by Intaglio Printmaker ink, and this exact plate next to it was done by using Akua. This is exactly the same plate. So the only thing I could see is the edges again, a little bit more leakage, but that is really down to me to, oh, probably put it all the way around, that's it. It's really down to me to be a little bit more careful with the excess ink. So perhaps a little bit more control, but if I'm looking at the edges, I mean, it really isn't that much difference. Not that I can see anyway. That one's probably wiped off a little bit more. So yeah, easier to wipe off, I'd say. So one more thing, let's see which one is easier to clean off with a baby wipe. So this is the Akua ink, as you can see. Super easy to clean off. And this is the Intaglio Printmaker's ink. Nope. Definitely harder to clean. Now I'm gonna have to use white spirit. So you can see why I am super attracted to changing my ink brand.